Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into the PTA postgame show. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Hopefully everybody enjoyed the game today as the Packers come out on top 23-19. I got to be honest with you, man. That was it was a stinker in the first half, but the second half was a lot of fun to watch. And the big thing that sticks out to me just right off the bat, Taylor Elgersma kind of looks the part. To me, he looks a little more of the part than Sean Clifford does. And I know some may disagree. Sean Clifford probably has a much better grab of the offense. But Elgersma, man, turning his back to the line of scrimmage and selling those play fakes hard, turning around, letting that thing rip. To me, I feel like he might have the upper hand on Sean Clifford right now. I want to know what everybody thinks in the chat. If you guys would, hit that like button for us. Hit subscribe. If this is your first time tuning into the PTA Post-Game Show, welcome. Thank you for making us a part of your post-game festivities. We go live daily here at PTA, doing pre-game shows, post-game shows, in-depth analysis. We do, the film breakdown, the whole 9 yards. So if that's the type of content you're looking for on a daily basis, feel free to subscribe and make sure you click that bell icon so you're notified every time we do go live. So we got Jacob joining us now from Wisconsin. It'll be a little bit shorter post-game show. Going to try to get about 40 minutes in before we got to run out of the house and head to the remaining festivities here on this Saturday evening. Jacob, I was just talking about Taylor Elgersma, man. He looks like he's taken some huge steps in the short amount of time he's been in Packers camp. I don't know how you feel about it, but I was just specifically mentioning, and we'll break down everything. We'll talk about everything in kind of orderly fashion, but that's the first thing that sticks out to me. Maybe it's fresh on my mind in the second half, but man, him turning his back to the line of scrimmage and just letting that thing rip on play action sets really, really impressed me.
Yeah, I honestly, so I charted every single snap of this game.
You did.
I did, man. I really tried to do the keep your eye off the ball thing. And at the end, I was just a little late because I was trying to get some summaries. And one of the things I said is Elgersma is really good, like a lot more, I guess, has more pocket presence than I thought he would, has more running capability than I thought he did. The willingness that I saw him putting his shoulder down and truck sticking guys and talking smack to him. And then I thought he had a freaking cannon. And does it surprise you at all that Clifford only had one drive and it was the last one there? And Elgersma basically played.
I thought they weren't going to put him in, Jacob. I was like, I'm with you. I was kind of like, why? I wonder why they're not playing Sean Clifford more. And I think they wanted to get a real good look at Elgersma. You know what it kind of felt like as I was thinking about that, Jacob, was, are they giving Elgersma an extra look so they can justify, okay, we got a good enough look. He's not going to be the guy this year. And maybe as the game went on, they were like, holy cow, this dude might be the practice. When I say the guy, understand people, I'm talking about practice squad quarterback. It's funny, man. Preseason, we're sitting there talking like, this is the franchise QB. No, it's going to be the practice squad quarterback. But it's still a little bit early. But yeah, that he would get my nod as we sit here today. So
yeah. Can I just quick? So I thought I just really black and white type of stuff. I just said who had a bad game, who had good games. I thought, like I just said, Elgersma did good. Wilson, it's like that guy is just good. Emmanuel Wilson, you throw him in, he just gets 8 a pop, catches the ball. He's just really, really impressed. I thought Cornelius Johnson, didn't get a lot of opportunities, but him and both Julian, is it Julian or Julius Hicks? Julian Hicks.
I think it's Julian Hicks. Yeah.
He had that one that got called back, but that one arm grab, just what a throw by Malik. And then 2, what an absolute beauty of a catch. And I thought Bo Melton had a decent game. I saw he missed a couple tackles, but he was willing to kind of set the edge, play the run. He had a pass breakup. And on the opposite side, I thought Kamal Haddon had some rough stuff going on, a few early penalties, some broken coverages. He did, though, kind of redeem himself towards the end of came up and made some good plays against the run and looked very aggressive. And then Belton, to me, just did not have a good game. Like, I liked the aggressiveness that he played with, but he had, I think, 3 or 4 penalties that either stopped the drive or was so costly that it basically killed any momentum that the offense had. And then I thought Stackhouse, unfortunately, I saw him miss a few tackles where it just seemed like they bounced off him, and I wanted to see more.
There was one play too, Jacob, where they had an A-gap run, and as I watched it back, and again, the TV copy is hard to kind of get the full picture, but if I understood correctly, it looked like, okay, whose gap was that? And he was just man up in a shade on the center, and the center manhandled him. And I was like, oh, man, I wanted to see him just shed that, grab the tackle, get the stop,
Yeah, what I will say is, I don't know if you guys are all aware of this, but they played their starters against our 2s and 3s for like the full first quarter and then part of the second quarter because they had Anthony Richardson going in afterwards.
Yep.
So honestly, I thought we played pretty darn good. If it wasn't for a few like mishaps here and there, we were on some pretty good momentum. Don't tell me, did Lloyd get hurt again? Did somebody say that?
Yeah, so on the wheel route for Lloyd, and he was one of my positive players. I thought he looked good.
I was just going to say he looked good.
So he runs that wheel route, and it's like a 30-something yard catch. He gets kind of tripped up at the leg.
Ankle?
Stumbles. It wasn't ankle, though. Well, we don't know officially yet, but to me it looked like he got his balance, and as he's getting his balance, the defender come over and ear hold him. So it might be a concussion, I would imagine. So that's what it looked like, but I haven't heard any official word. Since we're on injuries, let's talk about this, and then I'll hit my positive and negative players. But Sorrell left with a knee injury, okay? So we're kind of monitoring that. Baron Sorrell did leave with a knee. Hopefully he's okay. And then, of course, Marshawn Lloyd had the concussion. You guys correct me if I'm wrong in the chat.
Respect Orange just says high ankle sprain.
So he is saying high ankle sprain. Okay. I was worried because as he was going to the ground, he got ear hold. And when I was combing through Twitter, everybody was going, man, is that a concussion? Is that a concussion? People were saying it was a dirty hit. But I know this sounds bad, Jacob. Maybe it was just wishful thinking. I was wanting it to be a concussion instead of like an ankle or something. And I know concussions are dangerous the more they pile up, but you know how it is. That would have been like a freak concussion. If it is a high ankle sprain, man, it just continues, But yeah.
Yeah.
So it sounds like nobody. I'm the only person that thought it was a concussion. Looks like, so it must be a high ankle. There you go. I'd seen a couple comments on X going, it looked like a concussion. So with that being said, the Sorrell knee injury. Does anybody got anything on it? Let us know in the chat if you've heard anything else on Sorrell. Last I heard, it was just a knee injury, went in the blue tent, and they deactivated him for the rest of the game. So. Those are the only injuries I know of. But positive and negative players, I know you already said yours, Jacob. I had Elgersma as well. I had Marshawn Lloyd just because it was like, okay, get in there, get him some carries. The wheel route looked good. He looked really, really twitchy on the outside, especially in the pass game. And then Amar Johnson, I thought, showed back up again today as well. Negatives, like you mentioned, Belton. I'll tell you another guy I felt like had a really bad day was Kamal Hadden.
Absolutely.
Kamal Hadden, I mean, he showed up. If I were to just run through the notes and find his name here, late to the read on 2 plays on 1 drive. So he was just late getting to his zone, and it looked like a cover 6 look. He had the outside quarter and still didn't get there. That's just – you cannot let that happen. When you've got a defender that's helping you cover half the field deep and you get to your deep quarter that late, there's something wrong there. He also got called for a hold on a punt return.
Yep.
He also got called for defensive holding a little later. He also blew another coverage.
Back to back, too, I believe.
Yeah. Then the very next play, he slipped covering a curl route, blew that coverage.
Yep.
And then I think that was all that's all it was, Jacob. When you get 5 negative marks, and the way I chart here, guys, and doing this, like you can see, that's a full page right now. And I try to limit myself to that, or else I write a whole damn dictionary. But when you get one player end up on that front page that could take up almost a quarter of the page, not a good look, man. So Kamal Hadden, I think, sunk a little bit. Anthony Belton, the illegal formation penalty, guys, it sounds like what they're doing this year in the preseasons. They're really, really hammering down on that. Now, I'm not trying to justify anything else he did. I'm just saying if you remove the illegal formation penalties, I imagine it did. One of them wiped out an Elgersma touchdown pass. Who was that to? Ben Sims? Am I thinking right?
It was to Ben Sims, my man.
So if you took away those penalties, you still had negative marks on Belton for the false start. He got the personal foul. Right. And I want to say there was
face mask. He had a face mask.
Face mask. There you go. So, just a rough day. Now, I will say this, Jacob. Remove the penalties from Belton. I felt like he had a pretty good day. There were several times I've seen him engulf a defensive end like, oh, yeah, there you go. That's that mauler we're looking for. But anyway.
Yeah, I agree. I think actually threw it to you in the group chat where I said, minus Slayer. I think I said he had a rough day, but I like the aggressiveness that he plays with. Like if I'd rather have a guy be too aggressive than being kind of a sissy. And actually, one of my only do you remember when Haddon? I don't know if you remember the tight end Warren, the new rookie that they got, who honestly looked pretty good.
Yeah.
He caught it with Haddon, was able to just lay him out, but for some reason he just did the most lamest, just didn't even throw his shoulder, just kind of tapped him out of bounds, and he had to open, like he could have made a real good hit. He could have popped the ball up, but he just pulled up for whatever reason. And my only other positive about him is after he had gotten burned, he again was going to come in and look like he was going to make a late hit, but he pulled up. And I said, hadn't made a good decision pulling up to avoid penalty. It's like, all right, that's your two highlights.
That too. Yeah.
But anyways, one thing I want to highlight too is Whelan looked real good, man. Him booting that thing.
He's unbelievable, man. He's a hell of a punter.
It's just really nice to I'm not worried about the special teams whatsoever. And I thought some of our gunners looked all right. What do you think about Abi Konda getting so much playing time and nobody else really returning kicks?
Yeah, it's almost like they're trying to give him an opportunity to, whether it's secure his spot on the practice squad or potentially on the 53. I don't know, but they're really giving him an opportunity in that kick return. It's just like that's his role, right? Did anybody else return a kick, Jacob? Anybody else on kickoff?
I think that Ballantyne maybe did or something like that.
Okay.
Actually, you know what? I think I got it in front of me here.
Yeah, and J. Cole, while you're looking it up, J. Cole says, I question that Anthony Belton was high in the first half. It was odd. It was very, very odd in that regard.
Yeah. Ballantyne had 1. Abi Konda had 5.
There you go. So, and again, it's kind of like the Elgersma thing in the second half, or what was it, the second quarter all the way through the third quarter, really deep into the fourth. You're trying to give them an opportunity to play themselves off the team. You know what I mean? That might be one of those things too with Bonnie Konda there on the kick return for sure. Bramble, I noticed this too. Bramble said Packers radio announcers were saying El Gersma, LOL, sounded like a Spanish word. They may have it right, Bramble. Because Indianapolis's announcers were saying the same thing, right? So maybe I've got it wrong. I say Elgersma, and they were saying El Gersma. So Jacob, you're the pronunciation expert here. How would you say it?
I don't know. Elgersma sounded right, but I just will say one thing. I had to listen. I don't know if you guys did, but I had to listen to the Colts announcers.
Horrible.
It makes you so thankful for The Rock and Mr. Laramie because, oh my Lord, it was rough. And the amount of pass interference that they were not calling was kind of shocking. And every time the announcers, that's good, really good defense. We're glad that the announcers are letting them, or the refs are letting them play today.
Yeah. And then at the end, the potential game-winning catch, they kept trying to say, the challenge is about, are they getting inside, or is it a touchdown or not? And I'm going, I think they're challenging if it's incomplete pass or not, right? And then they were like, yeah, well, it kind of looks like that second foot drug. But they were not mentioning that the ball was smacking the ground and bouncing.
Yeah.
It's just like,
right.
Calm down, you bunch of homers. So Tyler agrees, couldn't stand their announcers. And the interview, listen.
Oh, don't even.
No disrespect. No disrespect to, gosh, I'm trying to think of his name now. Irsay just, passed away. And listen, Irsay, whether you like him or not, listen, he battled his demons, but he and his father played a big role in the NFL. Big role, right? Well, he now has given the team to his daughter. And I know I'm probably going to catch hate because they're going, you're only saying that because it's a female, Clayton. That could be the furthest thing from the truth. That interview was so cringe.
Just painful.
It was just like, and I'm not mad at her. I'm not trying to cut on her. I'm cutting on the team for putting her in that spot. You've got to know that that's going to go south so quick. It literally sounded like Paris Hilton or someone, you know what I mean? Like you could just tell she didn't know how to answer the questions from a top of the food chain, top football person, right? Do you
remember one of her quotes she actually said was, "There's no college for coaching." And I'm like, you literally can go to school for coaching and coach in college. Like, there actually is. It
was very odd. Anyway, back to the Packers. It was very odd. I'm glad as soon as I brung it up, you went, oh, God, so I'm not the only one. Greg Rice, did Bo have any passes defended? I had one pass breakup from Bo. There could have been more.
I had one at least.
And it was on a slant. And you know what I thought immediately was all the conversation we had about him potentially playing slot. Like, slants out of that too. That's usually a slot corner's responsibility. But, yeah, I thought I won't say he played like, good. I think he played okay. There was a couple of times that I seen they created separation on, but there was other times it was like it definitely doesn't look too big for him in terms of playing corner.
You know what? I feel like we kind of buried the lead. And chat, correct me if I'm wrong, but other than Lloyd, and was there any other injuries to the Packers that were significant?
Just Sorrell.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the Colts, I think the Colts had 5 or 6 down by the second half. I mean, that was rough. Yeah. So I would consider us kind of lucky.
Yeah. You don't want to see any team get hurt, but I'm with you, Jacob. As I was watching, I was going, boy, if these injuries were happening to the Packers right now, our fan base would be losing their mind,
Yeah.
Respect Oranges in the chat said, redact the high ankle sprain for Lloyd. Google might have confused this injury for last year's injury versus the Colts. That's wild. So he got hurt against the Colts last year too. Yeah, we'll see if we can get to the bottom of that. I'll continue to search here on X. I was just hitting Marshawn Lloyd latest. I've still not seen anything. And again, I wish I could show you all the play, but he gets absolutely ear-holed. To me, it doesn't look like the ankle.
Ed Madden saying that Omar Brown was injured as well.
Is that right? Okay. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. So, all right. Good deal. Respect Oranges. If you hear anything else, let us know, buddy, for sure. So again, back to kind of the movers and the shakers of the day. If I were to go through my notes real quick, and now listen, I heard a two-announcer booth call him McAnamey and then McNamee. So I still don't know what the hell his name is, but we'll call it McNamee, okay? He had a missed field goal early. Isaiah Simmons blew a coverage. Watch that. It was a wheel route. It was a bad pass, luckily, but I still took the note down that, boy, Isaiah Simmons got cooked on that route. McCall Hardman, 21 yards on that third down. Nice play there from Malik, right? From Malik Willis. Julian Hickson, when you were talking about one-handed grab for 31 yards. However, a Donovan Jennings hold brung it back. So, again, that's why it's important. If you're just looking at the box score, if you're just going through the play-by-play on ESPN or what have you, what ends up happening is you don't even see that play. And the coaches are looking at the film going, man, hell of a catch by Julian Hickson on a crucial third down, So that stuff is very, very important. Jennings blown block on 3rd and long. So you have somewhat back-to-back bad plays for Donovan Jennings. Seems like he's sinking a little bit in terms of the positive-negative marks. Oladapo had a pass breakup. Yeah, Baron Sorrell go out with the injury. Kamal Haddon, like I said, we already talked about him. That's where you start seeing his negatives come in. You had the wheel route from Willis to Marshawn Lloyd for 33 yards. Should have been picked. There was one negative mark that Willis should have been picked. They had a drop interception from Malik Willis as well. Anthony Belton got the personal foul. We talked about the Bo Melton pass breakup. We already talked Haddon. Manuel Wilson, nice 9-yard run. And you talked about that, Jacob. Manuel Wilson, I honestly don't want to see him back out there in the preseason. Like he's our number 2 back. There's no reason to put him in harm's way. Yeah. I'm with you. I thought he had a good day. What else you got, man?
I think quietly Christian Welch had a good game. He had 8 tackles, 5 solo, 1 pass deflection as well. And I just thought that he looked very comfortable there. Isaiah Simmons was our leading tackler with 9, 5 solo, but out of position a few times. But all in all, I thought he does look honestly more like a safety or like a corner. Like I was shocked at kind of how light he looks, but he does move around pretty good. Both of our second and third running backs, if you want to call them that, had really long pass receptions. One of Marshawn Lloyd of 33 yards, the other from Emmanuel Wilson, like you said, of 32. And then, I was, what are your thoughts about why would they play Amar Johnson that late and put more stuff on tape? If they do you see that as a weird battle for the 4th there, or is he just not making the team all of a sudden?
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily he's not making the team. I guess they just don't see him as much of a lock for that, at least that 4th practice squad spot as I do. This happens to me every year, Jacob. You remember last year, Christian Welch was the guy I was like, he has done everything to make this team. There's no way he doesn't make the team. And lo and behold, he didn't make the team. No. Watch that be Amar Johnson this year. I'm definitely not the best at that when it comes to predicting roster spots and stuff like that. But we got Matt LaFleur at the podium. You want to catch a little bit of this real quick, Jacob? If we got sound. Some people are reporting there's not good sound. Let me get a screenshot up here. Let's get Tupac LaFleur at the podium. Here we go. Let's see what the coach has to say. Hopefully you guys can hear it. I've got it as loud as it'll go. Hopefully we can hear it here.
Trying to push the pile, and I think, we did on one of the touchdown runs by Amar. So I love the effort. It's just you got to be smart in those situations. I didn't get a great look at it, so I'm not quite sure what happened. But yeah, we got to clean that up.
The awkward pause.
Yeah, he fumbled the football. That's the play that Belton got called for the face mask. So you got a double whammy, because not only do they gain possession of the ball, but then they got I want to say they tacked on
15
on that.
I think that was one negative play there from Emmanuel Wilson. He was the one who
Yep.
fumbled on that play, right?
Yep.
Okay, here we go. Keep going. I wish we could hear the questions. It drives me insane, dude.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And in fact, I was really proud of our veterans that did not play in terms of their ability to stay locked in. And they're coaching the guys up. They're encouraging them. Told them at halftime, it's hard to bring that energy when you're not making plays. I said, but you got to bring some level of encouragement for the guys that are out there. And I thought they were dialed in for 4 quarters and did a nice job with that.
Nick McSwain in the chat while they're asking the question. How big of a dip do y'all think LaFleur has?
Things that he did obviously led us on a couple scoring drives. I do think there were a couple times where he put the ball in jeopardy in some tough situations, and we got bailed out by a penalty on the defense. So I think there's a lot to like, but also a lot to learn from.
All right, one more, guys. I know y'all are struggling to hear it.
That was a bad decision.
Oh, we need that soundbite for sure. My goodness, we'll just end it right there. I apologize, guys. I still don't understand how it's 2025 and we can't get the audio turned up. And this happens on podcasts too, Jacob. You ever listen to a podcast and I got the volume cranked up? I'm running a walk behind mower, and I'm like, I can't hear what they're. At what point do you go? They can always turn it down in their headset. They can never go so high. I don't get it, man. What the hell's going on out there? Why don't you drive up to Green Bay and ask them why they can't get their mics turned up?
Well, no, in Green Bay, I thought, no, is it just because we're on the road and we don't have the same equipment that, like, how do you not account for that, though? That just seems weird.
I just feel like it's always been an issue.
You can get one of these little clippy things that goes to your collar, and then you're good to go, right?
I'm sure Coach would be excited about wearing that, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
All right, moving along. In the rest of my notes there, Anthony Belton, the face mask, we talked about that, and the Emmanuel Wilson fumble. That's what Coach LaFleur was just talking about. And then we had Deslin Alexander with the sack, right?
Yeah, I was going to ask about that little stunt / twist or whatever.
When you watch it,
yeah.
I'm not trying to take anything away from Deslin Alexander, but boy, he had a straight shot. Randolph just cleared the way, took 2 blockers with him on the stunt, scraped. You're in there.
Randolph had a good game, actually. He had, I believe, a batted ball, and I think he had another good tackle. Yeah, I was actually surprised at that. Honestly, Malik Willis, to me, I feel comfortable when he's in command of the offense. He had a couple balls that were, like, really amazing. And honestly, Marshawn Lloyd, the only thing that I can maybe – not only, but one of the things is when Malik was scrambling to get away from, I believe it was the 3rd down, he did that kind of Brett Favre shovel pass. He should have caught that ball. It was in his hands and he bobbled it. And then the next play, he had another missed catch that was a little bit longer. But honestly, after that, I thought he rebounded pretty well. So I'm pretty. Oh, you remember the scramble when Fitzpatrick caught it on that kind of was that a 4th down or something like that? I think it might have been. I like the way that Fitzpatrick looked, I'll be honest. And then obviously Ben Sims had the one that was called back like we talked about, but I'm really confident in the tight end room right now. It just all these groups, man. The running back room is deep. The tight end room is deep. Wide receiver room is crazy. Nair, I believe he didn't have a catch, but I still like the way he looked, man. He just looks like a giant out there. I love it.
Yeah, definitely. All right. What else here we got? Elgersma, the swing pass to Wilson for 32 yards. Beautiful play there. Wilson obviously recovering from that fumble. That was absolutely huge. A bounce back there. Belton illegal formation. We talked about it. McNamee, 43-yard field goal, right? Nice little field goal there. And then we went on a little positive run here. Here's my notes, Jacob. Elgersma, nice drive, plus an Abani Conda touchdown, right? Or was it? No, was it Amar Johnson's touchdown? I think
Mar had the last one where
Amar was the last one, so that wasn't a Bondi Conda touchdown.
Yep.
There you go. Elgersma to Cornelius Johnson, then Elgersma to Cornelius Johnson for 18 yards. That was somewhat got hot there late in the game. Then Amar Johnson with the 9-yard touchdown. He drugged the pile. Did you notice how he drugged the defenders into the end? Absolutely awesome. And then, of course, McNamee misses the extra point, makes things somewhat interesting there. Amar Johnson, B-gap run, right, for the first. Listen, Amar Johnson, there's just something about Amar Johnson that, I don't know, man. I want to say it was on a third down, too. It was like a 3rd and 4, so they were probably playing in 4-down territory. But he just has a unique ability to just get what you need. You know what I mean? And the way he hesitated, jab step to the A, bounce back to the B, got low underneath the tacklers, got just enough for the first down. So, really, really like that run. Sean Clifford, of course, scrambles for the touchdown. I think on what they said was a zone read. And then I want to say this, that game-winning play, essentially, Jacob, the touchdown that got, or, what we thought might be a touchdown there, the deep pass in. Got to give props to Tyron Herring. That hit he laid on him. If he doesn't fly over and hit him, that's an easy catch for a touchdown,
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to lie. When that happened, I was like, oh, man, all this for them to lose it in the last. And then, you look at the replay and, again, the homers there, the announcers, it made it seem like that it was going to get overturned or something. But, I mean, good play by Herring. Didn't have much opportunities, but that's what the preseason is about, is when you do get the chances, you have to, show up on the tape. And, that's good for him.
Yeah, definitely. Let's go to the box score, unless you've got more notes, Jacob. You got any more notes you want to hit on there, man?
No, I think we've one thing I would say, is that I noticed that there was a lot more attention to ripping the ball out. When one guy was wrapping up, the second guy came in, like they were doing it. If they keep that up, I just really do feel like that we're going to have a lot more forced fumbles going into this next year. Yeah,
definitely. Is this legit here? I can't remember now. Ed Madden said Amar Johnson, Greg, 4.3940. Did he really run a 4.3? That's crazy. Hey, confirm that for me, Ed. Somebody, Jamie, somebody confirm Amar Johnson 4.3940. I know he had a good RAS when we signed him, but if that's the case, man, because I don't see him as a speed back, Jacob. You know what I mean? To me, he looks like just a good contact balance, one cut and go type of guy. But man, if he's got that kind of speed, that's huge too. So, let's roll through the box score here. Let's start on offense with our quarterbacks. Taylor Elgersma led the way. 7. Yeah, there you go. Respect Orange just confirms. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you. 4.39.
Wow, that's crazy.
That is. Elgersma, 7 of 11 for 109 yards. He was sacked one time, lost 6 yards on that sack. However, no touchdowns, no interceptions, but he just looked efficient, Jacob. And his ability to utilize play action in Matt LaFleur's offense impressed me. Did you notice the interaction between him and Matt, too, on the sidelines? It just looked like, when you're talking about a player that's trying to play his way onto a practice squad, they're typically just like a yes man to the head coach. It looked like he wasn't disrespecting Matt, but he was being very vocal with Matt. And you see Matt turn away kind of quick, like in a good way. I was just thinking, Elgersma looks the part. He just looks like he knows what the hell he's doing. He's got confidence. And if you've got confidence, you take that back into the huddle. Man, that is infectious with those other 10 guys in the huddle for sure. So I really, really like the way he played tonight. Malik Willis, 6 of 14 for 83 yards. Not a great outing, but not horrible, I would say, given the different cast of characters that were playing there with the makeshift number 1 team, right? And then Sean Clifford, of course, only 1 of 4 for 11 yards. I just feel like Elgersma, and it's not just because of this game. We've talked about the arm talent. We've talked about the athletic ability. We've talked about, can he grab the offense? To me, it looked like he grabbed the offense. And, Jacob, I'm going to talk about a division rival for a second. I want to get your take on this. We talked earlier in the week how Caleb Williams was struggling to pick up the Detroit offense, right? And then you look at Taylor Elgersma, who just, came over from
Chicago
Canada.
Offense, but
Yeah. And you look at Taylor Elgersma, who comes over from Canada, and it seems like he picked up Matt LaFleur's offense like that.
Yeah, it really does. One thing I will say, too, is that, like you said, just seems like Elgersma just had more confidence, and it seemed like they didn't want Clifford to throw the ball. You know what I mean? They weren't letting him kind of sling that thing, almost as if they knew what they had or knew what they didn't have there. But yeah, like you, man, I think that Elgersmo showed a lot today, and I'm a little weary, just because I know if you ask Ryan, he's still very hurt that they let his guy Michael Pratt go, somebody that kind of flashed in the same way, and then all of a sudden, before you know it, he's gone. So I'm just a little gun shy to fall in love again, but
Hey, I like Michael Pratt too. His college tape was really nice. It was, and that was another one just like Christian Welch last year. I'm like, man, I missed that one. I thought for sure they were big on that dude. So, yeah. Cody asks, how many penalties on Belton? I could be wrong here. We'll know for sure when we give you guys the PFF breakdown tomorrow. I want to say it was 5 or 6.
I was going to say at least 4 or 5.
Yeah. So hopefully it's closer to 4 than the 6. But, yeah, it was a rough day, no doubt, for Belton, man. He and you know what? Might be a good thing. You know, get all that on tape and like, hey, you got to control your emotions. You got to make sure you're playing under control. I don't think it was like the face mask and stuff and the, whatever. I don't think it was him going, I'm going to be overly aggressive. I think it's just you got to be able to turn it off at the whistle. You know what I mean? So Caldwell Corner in the house. Good to see you, buddy. He says, go Pack, go baby. Good to see this team get a dub, even if it wasn't perfect or if it's preseason. Amen, man. You got to create a little bit of momentum going into the season. It helps. I think that's very well said there. But again, you guys know how I feel about this stuff. I'm not, just like last week, it wasn't the end of the world. I'm not looking at this 23-19 victory over the Colts like, oh yeah, baby, Packers they're going to the Super Bowl. You got to put everything in perspective. But all right, rushing carry wise, it looks like Izzy Abanikanda had the most carries, 12 carries, 43 yards and a touchdown. Pretty decent day at the office there. Emmanuel Wilson, 5 carries for 33 yards. Of course, he had the fumble. Amar Johnson, 7 for 22, and he had the tutter. So, listen, the yards per carry, obviously below 4. That should be kind of the benchmark you're shooting for there, in my opinion. So yards per carry didn't look good, but boy, at the end, when you needed that tutter, he's carrying defenders into the end zone for sure. Sean Clifford had 3 carries for 19 yards and a touchdown. There we go. Tyrion Davis Price, 4 carries, 18 yards, had a long of 7. Marshawn Lloyd had 6 carries for 15 yards. Chris Brooks, 2 for 5, and then Taylor Elgersma tucked it and ran 1 for 4 yards. So in terms of the running game, Jacob, Izzy took a step forward today, I believe, man.
Yeah, I do too. And it is kind of confusing, much like with the amount of playing time that Elgersma got. It's like, what does it mean? Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Like you said, is it a good thing that they want to see him or they have a lot of confidence in him, or is it the opposite? And it's the fact that they kind of give him their last kind of hurrah. And I don't know what to think, honestly. It's going to be an interesting cut day.
Yeah. I feel comfortable that Chris Brooks is probably going to, if they carry forward, it'll be Chris Brooks. That's kind of where I'm at right now, though. Amar Johnson's shown a lot, don't get me wrong. And I can't wait to see him next week. But it just feels like Chris Brooks' value in the passing game, whether it's pass pro or catching the ball out of the backfield, far outweighs what the other guys have done up to this point. Moving on to receiving, Cornelius Johnson led the way, 3 catches for 41 yards on 4 targets. Pretty good day at the office there. Marshawn Lloyd with a 33-yard wheel route. Emmanuel Wilson, a catch for 32 yards. We've seen that. He actually got targeted twice. I didn't realize Marshawn Lloyd had been targeted 4 times. However, there was 2 where the quarterback was getting hit, and they just kind of shuffled it out of there. So I don't know if you'd really consider that an adjusted target or not. Johnny Lumpkin, 2 catches for 22 yards on 3 targets. McCole Hardman, 2 catches for 27 yards. Julian Hicks had a grab for 14. Amar Johnson had that his only target. He caught it for for 11 yards. On his 1 target there. So showing he can catch the ball in the backfield's going to help his chances as well. Like you said, John Fitzpatrick, couple targets, 1 catch, 9 yards. Ben Sims should have had a tutter. That sucks.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Isaiah Nayer got targeted 3 times, didn't have a grab. Kind of a little bit surprising there. You'd like to see him be able to capitalize on the opportunity.
Yeah, that was my only kind of disappointment was, I mean, I like the way he looked. He really does look like a big commanding receiver. So I hope that he kind of turns it around, but
Yep. All right, moving along. So there's your receiving statistics. We had 1 fumble lost. That was from Emmanuel Wilson. So moving on to defensive side of the ball, Isaiah Simmons, 9 tackles. This is, to me, why tackles, you got to be careful. You would look at that box score, Jacob, if you didn't watch any of the snaps, and go, Isaiah Simmons, pretty damn good day at the office. I felt like he did not have a good day. I had him blowing one coverage on a wheel route. I also had there was another time too underneath. I want to say he was late to his spot. I didn't feel like he played well. With that being said, we'll probably look up at PFF tomorrow, and he'll have the highest grade on defense.
Yeah, I had the same kind of notes on him where it just seemed like all of those tackles were him either chasing something or, kind of being out of position in his zone. But, like you said, I'm sure that we'll get proven wrong tomorrow. He'll have like an 80 PFF grade, and yeah.
Yeah, and Tyron Hopper, I didn't have it in the notes, but there was one play in particular where he was in coverage.
Yep.
I thought it was pretty impressive.
I wrote a note down saying like he looked actually in position running stride for stride.
Yeah. H.E. Soder with the super chat. Thank you, Soder. Appreciate you, buddy. He says Hopper in pursuit is a thing. All right. I like his chances. Isaiah Simmons, you look at this stat line and you would think Isaiah Simmons had a better day than Tyron Hopper, right? However, Tyron Hopper did have a tackle for a loss, and Isaiah Simmons' tackles. The thing I don't like about Isaiah Simmons' tape so far, and it's just 2 games, he looks like he's so focused on technique, Jacob, that he's not getting to the point of attack quicker than he should. I mean, he's got world-class speed. But what I've noticed is, like, for instance, if they run a stab route, the running back catches the ball and he's 8 yards in front of him, he'll take 2 or 3 steps, break down 4 yards away, and prepare to get the proper form tackle. And he looks good, looks clean. But it's like, Bub, we need you to attack that ball carrier. Like, you can't just lag back like that. It's great he's got 9 tackles, but I felt like his stock definitely didn't get better today. Maybe it didn't take a step back. How do you see Isaiah Simmons right now, man, based off what we've seen today?
Yeah, I think I know exactly which play you're talking about because it reminded me of the old Packers cornerbacks that would stop and square up like 5 yards, just stop dead and let the guy kind of get the momentum. And like you said, I remember thinking, wow, he wrapped up real nice though, like form tackle, real good. But I agree. It just to me was I'd call it a break even day. Because like you said, the stats may look good on paper and it wasn't that necessarily I don't know if he blew any major coverages or anything like that, but it just seemed like that he was always a step or 2 behind and just, like you said, not attacking, not finishing, not being kind of dominant. Even though I believe it might have been a pitch to the right side. I saw Hopper come up and absolutely take on an offensive lineman too. And just blow him up like to a point where you could see him just dart in. I only just wish that he was a little more evasive, much like I think like a Cooper would have evaded the block and just gotten the running back. He got kind of gobbled up in the wash, but I was really impressed more with what I saw from Hopper, obviously, over than what I saw from Isaiah. So I think that maybe we got to readjust. It'll be cool to do another exercise where we readjust the depth chart based on what we saw today, because I think there should be some shakeups, right?
Yeah, for sure. And again, Soder, thank you for that super chat, buddy. We appreciate you. Got a little bit of breaking news here, Jake. As Rob Domofsky tweeted out a little injury update here. Packers coach Matt LaFleur called Omar Brown's injury a scary deal. He's staying overnight in Indy because of a chest contusion. Barron has a knee injury. We talked about that. And then when he was asked if Marshawn Lloyd, who didn't play after his 33-yard catch, is okay, LaFleur said, "We'll see." So that doesn't sound good, right? So, again, those are the 3 injuries it looks like we're coming out of the game with. Again, Omar Brown sounds like the most serious in terms of, I don't want to say life-threatening, but, serious in that regard. Like, hey, outside of football is more important than football, right? Barron Sorrell, knee injury, don't like that. We'll see, see how bad it is. And, of course, Marshawn Lloyd, we'll see. I wish somebody could tell me, is it an ankle injury?
That's weird.
Is it a head injury or what? And it looks like Matt Schneidman said, LaFleur says we'll see when asked if Marshawn Lloyd is okay. He took a big hit on his wheel route catch. Pete Doherty from the Green Bay Press-Gazette said Matt LaFleur said when he's asked if Marshawn Lloyd was okay after leaving the game early in the second quarter. Yeah, same thing. We'll see. So I'm not seeing anything about was it an ankle injury or not.
Yeah. The chat's been up and down about it. A couple of people have said concussion, like you said. A few people said high ankle and then ankle. But Holmes, our resident doc, says Omar sustained a suspected pulmonary contusion, which is why he had a mask on.
Wow. So, Holmes, break that down for the dumb redneck in me.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Tell us like we're third graders.
Yeah. When I hear pulmonary contusion, I could be wrong. I'm probably completely wrong. I think like
blood.
Heart, like heart or blood flow related type thing. Am I wrong there? But And somebody's going to get mad at me in the YouTube comments. You guys should not comment on injuries if you're not a trained professional. Shut up. Go back to playing your rook or something, okay? Get the hell away from me. Jeez, oh, Pete.
Oh, yeah, pulmonary is lungs, yeah. So Brambo's saying lung bruise.
Yeah,
okay, that makes sense. Yep.
Definitely. Dangerous. So obviously, man, praying for that dude because Lamar Brown had a pretty good camp, You'd hate to see him be set back significantly for something like that. Hopefully, just glad he's okay, at least up to this point is what it sounds like. So Christian Welch, 8 tackles. Kamal Haddon, 7 tackles. Another one, you see him in the stat line here. Boy, he's playing physical, man. I'm telling you guys, it was a bad day at the office for Kamal Haddon. If I come out tomorrow and he has a PFF grade above 60, I'm canceling my subscription. I'm just telling you right now because I don't know how in the world you could have him grading out to have a good day. Jonathan Baldwin, 6 tackles. Bo Melton with 3. Nazir Stackhouse with 3. Sliding on down, Deslin Alexander had a sack and a tackle for a loss, of course. Tyron Hopper had the tackle for a loss. Warren Brinson had a tackle for a loss as well there on defense. So that's on the defensive side of the ball. Obviously, no interceptions, right? No interceptions on either side, I don't believe. Or maybe no picks. So there's your boy Abani Konda, 5 returns, 120 yards, had a long of 30. Corey Ballantyne had that 1 for 22, so you were right there, Jacob, on the kick return. McCole Hardman had the only punt return for 10 yards. And to me, it looked like he went more horizontal than he did vertically, so I didn't really like the way that looked. McNamee went one of 2, so 50% field goal percentage there. And his kick was a 43-yarder. He went 2 for 3 on extra points. So it's good to get him a little game time, Jacob. You know what I mean? Get him out there and let him see what it's like to kick under pressure. I was kind of hoping that it would come down to a game-winning field goal so we could see him in that situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But obviously, we're glad we got the dub here. So.
Yeah, totally. What's interesting is I never usually do it because I don't care in preseason. But when you look at the Colts, their box score, for them playing their 1s against our 2s and 3s for a good part of that game, their box score is kind of pathetic, to be honest. Like, it's really not impressive. And they're all, obviously it's the home announcers like we talked about, but they were talking them up like we really got something this year. This team is really put together, that kind of thing. And if that's their 1s going against our 2s, we were, what were we down? Like 20, was it 23 or 28 guys, something like that?
Yeah, I think it was 23 inactive today. And they were, like you said, they were playing a good chunk, if not all of their healthy starters, man.
Yeah, so. They were. They said barring injury that everybody played. So, good luck to them. And I think that bodes very well for us because, it wasn't perfect. Like most games aren't going to be necessarily perfect, but I was pretty impressed with that. What did you think about your guy, Riley Leonard?
Hey, he's tougher than a $2 steak, man. Mm-hmm. That guy, he will run until he can't run no more. I didn't even really pay attention to his stat line. Let me come up real quick and see exactly what he did.
7 for 12 for 64 yards.
Yeah, not horrible. Riley Leonard's he's the thing I remember about Riley Leonard when he transferred over from Duke to Notre Dame. Everybody instantly loved him in Notre Dame. He's just got one of those personalities. And if you care about this type of stuff, if you're just a football nerd and you want to learn a little bit about Riley Leonard, you can go to YouTube and type in Riley Leonard, John Gruden, where he went to Gruden's quarterback school or whatever. And it was really cool seeing him interact. He seems like a really good dude. He's very, very physical quarterback. I just don't – I don't know, man. Anthony Richardson, though, I will say this.
He looked a lot better than I thought he would.
Yeah, but he just I don't see him ever living up to the hype where he was drafted.
No.
I caught a lot of heat for that, not from our fans, but other people on Twitter when I broke down his tape when he was coming out in the draft. And, he was high on our draft board because you guys know our draft board has nothing to do with my personal opinion or prospect. I had a listener say, Clayton, what do you think of this quarterback class? So I broke it down. The 4 categories I think are most important for quarterbacks. We talk about it all the time. Accuracy, quick release, pre-snap read, post-snap read, right? That's the 4 things. If you can do that, you can play quarterback. I don't care if you can throw a ball 85 yards or not. Doesn't make a hill of damn beans to me. If you can't read a defense, if you don't have a quick enough release to get the ball out, if you've got to load that thing up to get it down the field like that, it's doing us no good. He was the worst of those first round quarterbacks that year that I broke down. So, I don't know, man. I just don't see him as an NFL quarterback. Now, maybe he can turn it around. I don't know. But Daniel Jones, to me, looked just as good, honestly. probably better today. So if I were them,
he had a 93.4 quarterback rating. Richardson at a 75.2. But
there you go. Yeah. And you'd think, well, Richardson's mobile. He took a sack. Daniel didn't.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So H.E. Soda with the super chat. Initial reaction, the backup pass rush was not great. Need more Mr. Cox. However, against the Colts ones, it might have been okay. Might have been okay. Yeah, I agree. I think that's very, very accurate assessment of the day. I would always love to see more pressure, right? But again, did Brenton Cox Jr. play at all, Jacob?
Yeah, he did actually played a pretty substantial amount of snaps. And he looked all right. It's just what you have to take into account is that all of the Colts, except for Daniel Jones, I mean, Daniel Jones is actually a little more mobile than people give him credit for, but the rest of those guys, Leonard can run. I really was impressed that Jason Bean guy that came in, he's kind of got a little spark to him. He was moving around and has a good arm. So all those guys have the mobility. So, if we ever go up against more pocket kind of, stick in the mud type quarterbacks, I think that we would have had a lot better chance of getting some pressures.
Yeah, definitely. All right. I think that's it, man. Soder, thank you for the super chat, buddy. We appreciate you. You guys know I'd love to sit here and talk for another hour with y'all. This was a fun game to watch. I think we learned a lot today. So you had a couple people sink a little bit. It doesn't mean they're not going to make the team or never turn it around. But I personally think Anthony Belton had a bad day. Kamal Hadden had a bad day. Taylor Elgersma, Marshawn Lloyd, and Amar Johnson, I felt like had pretty good days at the office. So, and of course, with Marshawn Lloyd, the main thing there was the wheel route. He looked healthy. He looked very twitchy. I could see why Matt LaFleur is excited about utilizing him in his offense moving forward. But, yeah. Anything else, Jacob, you want to hit before we wrap up, man? You got the final word here.
No, I think that all in all, that was a pretty good first road preseason game where the guys actually came out. Seemed like the piss was hot. And that's all you can ask for. And honestly, all in all, I was pretty impressed by a lot of people that I wanted to see. Like you said, I mimicked exactly what you said. I thought that it was a rough day for Belton, for Hadden, and Stackhouse. I thought that Elgersma, Wilson, Melton, and Cornelius Johnson and Julian Hicks had a good day today. So
good deal. All right, good to see you, buddy. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate you. He says W stream. Nick McSwain said this show sucked. It always does, baby. Holmes MD1, we love you, Mandy. Hold your boy up, LOL. Jacob, I don't know how the night's going to go, but look, she made me wear this shirt. She said, you got to wear your new shirt. Look at this. See what it says.
What does it say?
Hold my beer, George Washington. You got the George Washington quote on the T-shirt.
Did Emilio slide into the driveway sideways yet, or what's going on there?
I haven't heard the mariachi band roll in yet, so I'm sure he'll have the windows down in the El Camino, and that stuff will be blasting through the neighborhood. Well, I could probably check our Facebook page for the neighborhood, and they'll go, "What's this Mexican doing in the neighborhood?" So anyway, he should be here any second. So I'm gonna go over here and get ready to hit the town with the lady, and Greg Rice, Mandy, thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing, Clayton. Mrs. AFAM, thank you for sharing, Jake.
Come on, man.
Why does that guy?
There you guys.
Why you be like that, Greg? Come on.
Yeah.
AFAM with that mustache. I don't know. I bet he's a heartbreaker, dude. You kidding me? I don't know if he's or not. Who knows? All right. Jacob, thanks, man. Appreciate you.
Yep. Go Pack,
right,
go.
cool. Yeah, we'll see y'all tomorrow, guys. We're going to we'll be live tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. Central Time. I may go live early in the day if I get a few minutes and just cover a couple of things. But we will definitely break down the PFF grades as soon as they're available. That should be available some point tomorrow, probably before we go live there in the evening time. So if you would hit that like, hit subscribe, sub, hit the bell icon. Make sure you got your notifications on for when we do go live here in the future. And thanks to everybody in the chat. You guys are absolutely awesome. It was fun chatting with y'all and watching the chat, following along during the game was great. And a special shout out to H.E. Solder for the super chats. Thank you for supporting the stream. But we'll see y'all tomorrow. Everybody have a wonderful evening. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world. I will keep Emilio out the clink tonight. Okay. Go back. Maybe not. We'll see.
Here we go. Bye, guys.